Cherene Francis. Let's talk about filmmaking, specifically narrative filmmaking, whether it's a short film or a feature-length film. Let's talk about it. I have been filmmaking since 2020, and even before that, producing. And there's some things that you should know before you get started, or if you're just getting started. I am an actor, producer, director now, creator in general. I have my own digital marketing agency that has been thriving for the past couple of years, and so that is my perspective. Filmmaking takes long, and I don't think most people realize when they're getting started how long it takes to make a good film. Oftentimes when I am consulting or working with someone that's creating their first short, I find that their expectations of the deliverables is very, very much miscalculated. Now, if you are creating a film and you have like 50,000 plus to drop on a film, you have the script ready, so you have money and a solid script and a solid budget, it can go fast. And what I mean by that is you can go to set, shoot it in 2 days, 3 days, pay your editors and pay your VFX people, whatever, to get the film edited and pumped out. Now, if you are like an indie filmmaker, it's gonna take some time. Why? Because one, you're pulling a lot of strings, right? You might produce your film for 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. You might have a really low budget film, and because you're working with a lot of favors and you might not be paying people in some cases, then it's gonna slow the process down. I have seen with filmmaking that sometimes you also start with a budget thinking that you only need this amount of money to make the film. However, you need to think about all three phases of filmmaking. So this is another limitation that people don't really get, which is there's above the line and below the line. There's things that happen pre-production and post-production, after the production. And then there's the production. I find that newbies tend to plan for the production, but they're not planning how much money they're gonna need in pre-production, and Lord help us, they're not planning the post-production. And I think this is one of the things that gets filmmakers stuck with getting their film out there. You need to budget money for film festivals. And when I mean budget money, I mean like we want to see like 2, 3, 4, 5 grand if possible. You could decide to submit to like 3 festivals, but listen, each festival costs around $50 to $100 to apply into the festival. So just applying to 10 is already going to be at minimum $500. That's one thing. And then the other thing, you're going to want to be promoting it on social media, using it to network, finding platforms and ways to get it out there. And that's also going to cost you time and money too. So that would be the other thing about filmmaking that I think we need to know. I think for a lot of productions, if you had known that prior to, you would have planned your money differently. I'll say this as the last thing. Try not to use too much VFX in your script. VFX, I feel, is one of the most expensive things that you can integrate into a short film. It costs money, and most VFX artists don't want to do things for free, right? They got their VFX full-time gig, and if you're contracting one, they're not trying to do extra work for free. And so I find that the talent that's most challenging to barter, like, oh, we'll give you your portfolio, would definitely be VFX, because it's easy for a VFX artist to just create something of their own and build their portfolio. So that is the one talent that I find where you have to pay them. And it could be something super small, like it could be like a 3-second blip of VFX, and it costs so much. I remember in one of my films, we just needed some VFX to happen on someone looking at their phone and scrolling and typing. And that alone brought up our budget by a couple $100s. So if you're gonna do a short film, try to avoid sci-fi, try to avoid anything with too much glam and VFX. And the last thing would be like, what is a realistic timeline? I like to look at things like, if you give yourself, let's say 3 to 6 months of development, like finding your crew, establishing locations, where it's gonna be, how much you're gonna spend, that sort of thing. And then you get to set, and it's 2 to 3 days for a short film, for example. For a feature film, you're looking at least 2 weeks, but most likely like a 3-week schedule. Then after that, post-production, right? Post-production can take like a whole year. Even for a short film, again, it could take up to a year to get all of the things. Not just the editing, but getting music composed. And then again, as I said, VFX, getting movie posters designed and branding done. And then after that, you're timing your film festivals, right? So some film festivals, if you get into like, say, a smaller film festival, that might disqualify you from being featured in a larger film festival. So you might want to hold back your film from being released until it goes out to a larger film festival. And if you get approved, yay, you get to go into that. Or you would end up not getting approved and then going into a smaller, more localized film festival. So you have to play your timelines strategically when it comes to film festivals. So these are all the bumps in the road when it comes to filmmaking. I think that at the end of the day, go for it, make mistakes. Who am I to say wait, right? Go for it. But these would be my things to watch out for when you are making movies. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I am almost at 1,000 followers, and I have been working on this channel for the past year intentionally. Had it a little bit longer, but I appreciate it if you can subscribe, help me get to 1,000, and share, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.